Just make sure the audio's not off because anything we talk about is going to be funny. Leave it on, actually. That'll be funny.
I could do that, couldn't I?
Yeah, we could just hear people hear our banter.
Because
I could talk about it hasn't been crashing today, but Al was telling me that it's going all over the shop at the moment with crashes. So
what, his system?
Yeah.
What is Premiere?
No, he was just saying that the new Premiere was just really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going for broke on this update.
Oh.
I haven't experienced it yet, but I haven't really pushed it, kicked it as hard as I usually do. COVID times, COVID times, things are a bit lighter on, but believe me, things are going to get more hectic as we go along.
Ooh. All right, let's see here who's already going in. Where's me events? So I'm hoping and praying that it's all working as we need it to.
Oh, I can hear our audio on the live stream.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Ha, me too. How funny. We are crapping on. So I'm hoping and praying that it's all working as we need it to.
I'm going to mute my end just so that I don't get any double back.
Ditto.
Great song by ZZ Top.
I actually can't hear any music. Maybe I should put it on mute, huh?
You could put some music up, but every other streamer does that, so
Well, I don't know. I don't have much of a music catalogue, and I don't want to get in trouble.
Each to their own. That's right.
Do I? No. No, I don't. Maybe I should tell everyone, hey, it started.
You didn't program your stream deck yet?
For what?
To do your automatic tweets.
No, I haven't. I actually haven't had the time to get in and learn that.
It's pretty easy. I haven't pre-programmed tweets to send out, but I've learned the action to do it.
Right. We're getting some support here saying we're live. We know we got the mics on.
Stream deck.
We don't know whether this is going to work or just be rubbish.
Yes. Make it up as we go along.
It could
Welcome
be
to
horrible idea.
Welcome to Adobe Video CHiNWAG.com.
I think I just want to call it the CHiNWAG. What's this cat? I've got a cat inside the room here.
Oh, really?
Where'd you go?
Why would the cat?
The cat sneaks in. She likes to sneak in.
The cat.
The cat. So because there's this lag, the countdown timer is out of whack.
Yeah, the lag's like, 19 seconds or something?
It's
I'm not
longer.
too sure.
I actually put it on the longer one to see how bad it really is. So now it's 1 minute on my side.
Right.
But I think the feed...
Yeah, no, it's 23 seconds back.
Yeah. There we go.
Adobe CHiNWAG. Here we go.
Right, I'm going to try and open this other thing. And I should be able to see how many peeps are actually coming onto the stream. Cool, we got 5 viewers. That's sick. Loving it. One of them is actually me.
One of them's actually me. I'll put all 4 of my accounts on and it'll look like we've got way more people.
How funny.
Eat your heart out, Twitch streamers, hey? Hey.
All right, we have hit 0. And why are you live on top of me? That's crazy. Let me check that out. So we got our first little glitch. Let's take a look here. So that's the co-stream. Then I've got my, oh, do you know what I did? Here we go. I'm going to, oh, that's the one is it? Cool. Righto. Well, let's get me on camera first for starters.
Why am
G'day.
I?
G'day. Thanks for joining us. If you're here for the first time, well, you probably are here for the first time. This is a pilot. So, welcome to the CHiNWAG, the Adobe Video CHiNWAG. I'm using this as a way to just really get out there, go live, get started, and work out all the bugs. So there's a couple of kinks in the system right now. I'm just going to go into studio mode and set up my 2-up properly. So I've got Jimmy here as well, which I will bring him up on screen any minute now. So what we want to do is actually have this to be really interactive, okay? So the chat section that's in here, the live chat, please use it. We really want to be able to interact there and have people's input. As we're talking about a topic, you got something to say, add it in there. It just keeps the momentum of the topic going. So please be interactive. This will be wrapping at 8 o'clock, absolutely 8 o'clock. And from there, let's see here. I think that's my screen there. Yes. And then I want to go to this. So sorry, I'm mucking around here with my technical bits and pieces. So Jimmy, you're on the wrong side, buddy. Here we go. I'm getting myself.
I'm always on the wrong side.
You are always on the wrong side. You are always on my wrong side. What a terrible.
Well, when you've got to wrangle with OBS, I know what it's like.
I know. Okay, here we go. So we're going to... Hey! We got
Hey.
Jimmy up on screen now.
There you go. How are you, mate? You started the stream out with my face on there, and I didn't even get to start with my opening joke, which was my COVID-safe microphone, which has got a face mask on because we're all working from home. So I think we're allowed to wear our face masks outside, but not inside. So
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah. So who else?
Joke one fell hard on the floor. Anyway.
Boom. Anyone else that's on the chat there in Melbourne, based in Melbourne, because we're both based in Melbourne. So we're under number 4, stage 4
Stage
restrictions.
4.
Stage 4 restrictions. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's have a quick look at who's in the room. So we got Moses. Hello.
Hello.
Julian Shishinu, who will be one of our guests.
How are you?
One of our guest, one of our co-hosts at some point or another. We've got a series of co-hosts that we're going to be rotating through, depending on the topic, depending on whether someone's sick, depending on whether we're sick of them. And so we've got a few people that we're going to have on and off through the weeks. Let's have a look. All right, we've got some people from Perth. So Jude is from Perth. Where are you from? I'm calling not in Melbs. Yep. I think most people are actually from Melbourne in this particular test. So
the Premiere Pro is here.
The Premiere Pro. That's right. The Premiere Pro, for those of you who are savvy to that title and videos on YouTube, is none other than Paul Murphy, who has been living and working in the US for quite a few years, but due to COVID, and this is the topic for tonight, how's COVID and work from home and all that sort of stuff affected you, and how are you coping with it? The good, bad, and the ugly. He's moved home. He's moved back to Melbourne. Back to Melbourne.
He's back. And you're going to get a call from me, mate, because I've got some ideas about that documentary treatment you pitched me all those many months ago.
So Paul's saying that he thinks there's a glitch in the system. The jokes aren't funny. No glitches. We're just not funny.
Oh, hello.
All right. Well, I think we're sort of getting a handle on the way the chat works. Cool. Make sure that you invite anyone else that you know that probably would want to know that this thing exists. Week on week, I've got different topics that we're going to go through where there's going to be some demo associated to it. And that's kind of why I wanted to put this together as a video cast or a vidcast. So then it's not just a couple of talking heads, as interesting as that might be. It's so then when we hit a particular topic or something triggers a memory from someone in the chat area, that we can start to go down rabbit holes and bring up the user interface of Premiere, Audition, After Effects, whatever. If we can show it while we explain it, that's exactly why I wanted this to be video based. So that's the whole goal. It's kind of an extension of what we do in the Adobe Pro Video User Group Australia. It's a very active group. The New Zealand team, the New Zealand guys, they tend to be a bit more motion graphics heavy, but I want them to be involved too. And yeah, it's just another way for all of us to sort of catch up and maybe talk about topics and get some insights on things in a different format. So hopefully this works. It may not, but we'll see how it goes over the weeks. Righto. So Jimmy, tell me,
Yes, John.
how's COVID affected you with your work from home? Because you were kind of working from home before, but you shoot as well as do post. So how about you give us a little bit of an insight of what's affected you?
Well, I did have a setup originally, just to fill viewers in. Me and my wife run a production company called Fire Films, and we do documentaries that are basically life science, educational, a lot of learning management stuff, and we have had the privilege to travel the world doing that. So what we had in the past was a split workflow where she had an office and I had an office, and it was a very difficult situation because oftentimes we're having to collaborate with hard drives being passed via Australia Post or via courier. And now, luckily, we kind of realized that, working together so much, it was time to move on to a more collaborative way of doing things. And just as this pandemic sort of hit, we'd set ourselves up to work from home for a period of just exploring what it would be like to actually do that. And lo and behold, things changed, and now we're sitting here and enjoying the fact that we're pretty much 100% set up to work from home. So I'm sitting in my living room where I've set up my edit suite, and she has an office in another room, and we communicate via Slack because face-to-face communication can be difficult at times when you run a business together.
Even when you're at home at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. We only converse through Slack during business hours, of course. But yeah, so as a result of that, we're working on a fair few projects at the moment. We're lucky enough to be doing some stuff that's educational, technical. There's a bit of engineering, there's a bit of health, there's a bit of science, and we've had to basically accelerate what I wanted to do, which was to make this a cloud operation. I thought editors who we've worked with in the past, they often work from home, or they often have, young families. They don't have time to come to site sometimes. It's more convenient because they can work just as effectively from home if they have the appropriate ways to do that. So I just sort of pushed forward with what I wanted to do, which was a more cloud-based system, and being able to use the Creative Cloud for that has certainly accelerated what we're trying to do. And yeah, look, it's business as usual as far as I'm concerned. I mean, working from home, it can be tough, but I can go outside when I'm having problems with a client or with an edit, or I can't get something right, or it's not working, or the pitch that I'm working on is just not, being responded to. I can stand outside, I can get a bit of fresh air, and I can do some gardening. So, yeah, look, I think personally, it's for the better. So
yeah. Has anyone else in the chat got something to say about whether or not they feel this has actually been a positive thing for the way that they might work in the future? I think that's kind of the topic I wanted to explore today, because similar to you, Jimmy, I have found that I've been on the road quite a lot with my work at Adobe, and I'm actually getting used to a new way of sort of even setting up my time, and the kind of visits that I would normally do to the meetings that I do now, it's actually way more efficient. I can actually get a lot more done because I'm not traveling as much. But then, of course, there's things like now this show that we're trying to kick off here, where I had that face-to-face and had that experience where there's some value in actually being around people and sort of the conversation, the energy of conversation and that kind of exploratory thing that happens when you're hanging out with someone. And I mean, you and I have done this for years. We've known each other for what?
A long time.
20 years, maybe?
Something like that.
Something like that. And whenever we get together, we always end up going down rabbit holes. Like, you'll go, oh, wait, I got this thing. I don't quite understand this thing. And then I'll go, oh, okay, well, let me jump on and show you what it means. And that's kind of what I want to do here, because that's missing. And this COVID thing means that, especially for Melbourne, we're not coming out of this and going back to normal for a very long time. I'm predicting it won't be till at least the end of the year if we get it right now.
I don't think there's going to be many Melbourne meetups. Like, there were a lot of creative meetups and a lot of groups that were getting together where we tried to talk about stuff like this.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks because you're absolutely right. That free form discussion just about what you're experiencing and your workflow process, because it's different for everybody and everybody uses Premiere and whatnot differently, but having that collaboration and being able to do things and chat face to face, that's the best part. But I think we can do it on Zoom. I mean, everybody else is doing that now, so what are we doing? Well, we're in Teams, but anyway.
Yeah, we're using Teams at the moment, just because I've got a bit more control over who and what is on screen when I want to put Jimmy on.
But digitally we can accomplish the same things.
Right, and there's many options as well. So, and accessibility to it too. So that's another reason why I use Teams, is that I can send Teams invites and people can jump into that meeting just through a browser. They don't need to install anything. And so sometimes I'll be working with my customers that they have rules and restrictions from IT where they can't download an app that means that they can then get in. So Zoom, you kind of do that through the app to get the best experience. I don't even know if you can do it through a browser. Maybe you can. I'm just not that experienced.
No, you can. Yeah, you can.
But the thing with Teams, I've found a lot of corporations, they kind of have Teams already. They usually have some Microsoft 365 account with Microsoft, and then they have Teams as their internal kind of go-to anyway. But cool. Now I'll just jump on some of these chat threads here, because Jude has just pointed out that she's saying that yes, she agrees that this is a bit better. Let's see here. Slack for the win. Oh, that's your wife talking about that. Hello from the office. That's funny. You guys are actually communicating remotely, and she's in the room.
She's communicating from the other room. How good. So welcome to our workflow, ladies and gentlemen.
Righto. Okay. What else is here? Oh, we've got a few extra people signed into this, so there's a bit of a tech check going on here from Jude. You can see that there's like more people as viewers than there are in the chat bit, and that's because Jimmy and I have signed in through other accounts to keep our eye on the thread as well and in the feed and make sure that the signal doesn't drop out. What else is here? Mrs. Bouncing ideas. Yep, that's another really good one. Yeah, we just sort of mentioned that, but that's the thing. I kind of want to figure out who's already got some solutions to some of these problems. So how are you doing this interaction where people are remote and trying to capture that energy and that, when you feed off someone, when they come in and they're kind of excited. And I find doing this with the camera makes all the difference in the world. You can really see and pick up on that energy. I mean, we work in the industry, so we know the power of video. So much different to just having a phone call compared to doing a video call.
And you can bounce and bouncing ideas and stuff. As that interpersonal connection really actually creates that creative and collaborative vibe, which is so hard to do through a screen. And unfortunately, it probably could be the future, but at least it's more than just a phone call or a message, because Messenger seems to be the future of client relations, and I am not into that.
Yeah. So yeah, a point's been raised there from Jude saying, "What about people who've got crappy internet?" Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
That does suck. It means that it makes it really difficult. Is it impossible? I don't think the internet, at least from what I've seen so far, and I had pretty poor internet not too long ago. I probably wasn't able to do this sort of show where I'm streaming Jimmy through the internet. I'm also streaming up composite of this stuff. My laptop is connected to multiple screens. I've got another screen over here. I've got the feed coming back through. I've got so much stuff going on with a 14 meg up and 14 megabytes up and a 40 down, and it's working okay. Although Al's just saying that he's not sure if my audio is dropping out, which may be the case.
Well, I can hear you pretty clearly, mate. Hopefully
So the
you can
thing
hear
is,
me.
you can hear me through Teams.
Right.
So maybe there's something there. I'm bouncing at about -18, so that means I'm a bit soft. Let me double check.
Do you have the ability to raise your volume?
I can. Let's see. Let's just lift my volume up a bit more. How's that, peeps? How's that? This might even be not quite close enough. I'm actually thinking I'm going to try a few different microphone setups. I do have a wireless lapel, which I think that might give me probably the best audio. I do have a little shotgun mic thing as well, but I don't really have the room to hang it on an arm and do the cool thing like we're seeing Jimmy there with his cool vlog or podcast mic setup.
No, this was originally my like a recording microphone for my acoustic work on my acoustic guitar, but you know, I don't need to be as cool as Joe Rogan and have one of the Shure mics that everybody's getting for their podcasting, but this is still a better mic than those. So thank you very much.
Fair enough. So who else has got a question here? David's got a comment. I think it's helped me from better universal vocabulary when dealing remotely with team and clients in articulating creative ideas and reviewing changes. Okay.
Thanks, Julian. Thank you, mate. I just saw your comment. Thank you.
I'm a little bit out of sync with the latest here, so feel free to jump in, Jimmy, if you see something jump up. Cedric's getting away from messages in Slack. Almost impossible to take. Almost a day to upload a gig. Oh wow, Jude! It takes you a day to upload 1 gig. What's your connection?
Whiz.
Jeepers
Holy
creepers!
Hell. I'm very lucky that I live in a place that I have fibre to the house, so. The world is a better place when you have that, because you can create workflows that are seamless. And I currently have a number of animators working for me right now, and I can actually see them uploading jobs as we're speaking. So I'm monitoring the work as it's coming in, and Creative Cloud throws a little notification up on the screen up in the corner, and it lets me know that they have updated a file or a folder, or they've created a new folder. It's very handy because then I know where I'm at constantly. Some people hate the notification thing, but I really enjoy it because then I can see what is coming in at the time, and I'm like, right, I could start working on that this afternoon. I could start compiling something. That's a job for tomorrow. I think I'm getting everything, and at least they're doing some work, because when there's no notifications, I start to worry.
Yeah, well, given this is probably going to go for quite some time, if anyone is trying to sort of deal with not the greatest internet, it's probably a good time to make some choices and decisions and commitments to getting decent internet.
Well, I think as an editor, you will probably need to invest in that as part of your tool set. I think, having the Creative Cloud, if you are going to be pushing, yourself as a freelancer, for example, I think having a good internet connection is going to be a priority as part of your business model. That's just my opinion. But, if Australia had nailed the internet like they did in every other country that seems to have really amazing internet, and it was very easy for them to implement, NBN could have worked out, but it still sort of hasn't. But a good internet connection, I think, is going to go a long way.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's swing this back around to a bit more Adobe-ness. Has anyone got any challenges that they're kind of noticing with being remote and Adobe doing bad things, or you've got good things? I know Jude Jude's got some experience with team projects, and team projects will actually be the topic for next week, which will be the official episode 1. There's a customer that I've been working with called Black and White Real Estate Marketing. They've been using Teams for a long time, since it basically came out, which was around near the end of 2015. So this is quite some time ago, and it gave them a competitive advantage because they were able to actually outsource a lot of the editing to a group of people that they were mentoring and that were being trained in Mauritius. So they'll talk about their story, but they were using team projects a long time ago. So for them, this COVID thing has changed nothing other than the way that they get people to, freelancers, to shoot the content and then put it into their system. So they've developed an entire ecosystem around cloud and around motion graphics templates and around a brief template. And they're basically offering a way to run a business as a skilled provider of the content. You might be decent at photography, you might be decent at the video camera, but you're really crappy at the business end. They kind of handle that, and you basically get farmed out work from them to then push back, and then it gets sent off, proxies, all comes back, and then it gets rendered out locally. So they got a really interesting story. I don't want to go into it in any more detail now, but that's definitely something that I think is pertinent to the timing, because team projects was only available for enterprise licenses or for Teams licenses, Creative Cloud for Teams. It wasn't available for Creative Cloud for individuals, but because of COVID, Adobe's opened that up, and so anyone with an individual subscription is able to utilize team projects. And that means as a freelancer, at least until we see what happens with the pandemic, the first date is somewhere in August. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll find out whether or not it gets to stay longer, which means you can keep your license, the pricing of that, and take advantage of being able to work remotely using team projects. So we'll go into that topic later on. But who's got some good or bad experience doing remote things with the Adobe stuff? Julian would like to know if Adobe have an app to take care of his kids while he works. I'll put that. I'll pass.
Throw that on to me. I'll work on it for you, Julian. We can see if we can get something together. Maybe an Adobe extension we can throw in there that distracts them while we edit. Yeah. The headspace. It's hard to get into an edit space. Headspace when you're at home. I get that. I know it.
Right. Okay. So let's have a look here. It looks like Moses. Play with character animator. That's actually a good idea.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Cedric's been using team projects every day, and this week moved away from proxy workflow, and editors are downloading the original media and conforming and sending to clients. Okay. Flexibility, who picks up the edit. Yep, that's one of the benefits of using team projects, is you can have multiple editors accessing the same project. There's mechanisms in place where you don't step on someone's toes, or if you do, you get notified. Basically, you kind of stay in your sequence lane. So you get sequences that you are supposed to work on, and you name them that way, and then you stay in that sequence. If someone else needs something from your sequence, they can, I call strip mine it, and grab bits out. So long as they're not making changes to your sequence, then there'll be no conflicts that need to be resolved. If you do have conflicts, you can resolve them. I'll probably go into a more detailed thing on that.
It can be scary. I will say it can be scary in the beginning, but once you get your head around it, and much like Dropbox or Google Docs or whatever, things can evolve. And once you move away from the physical media idea, then you start to go, okay, well, things are not going to go pear-shaped if I make one mistake. We can fix that. Yep. It's like at the high pressure world that we're in with editing and stuff. It's like, oh my God, if I mess something up, it's going to make, a hell of a lot more work for everybody else. It's going to, cause problems, but it really isn't. And you are collaborating in a situation where things are happening with multiple editors, but you are so much faster at assembling those things. And as long as you've got somebody with good oversight that's sort of running the project, you're going to be fine.
I do have, if anyone's interested, I actually have an unlisted link that goes into, well, how long does it go for, Jimmy? I showed this to you. Was it 20 something minutes or was it longer?
No, it was the one I got was about 24.
Okay. It's 24 minutes.
Was that your?
It's the presentation.
Yeah, the presentation. Yeah, the
So-
St Kilda one, or
No.
No.
It was it's
the
just a
full one. That's longer.
presentation. Yeah, I have to have a look.
That's
If
longer.
anyone's interested in kind of understanding the architecture behind it, I can. If you drop me a little thingy link here, maybe I can. I don't know how. Oh, you know what? Here we go. Here's a bit of a plug. I'm going to go to the end screen just so then you can see the different ways that you can sort of get in contact with the CHiNWAG team, right? So there is actually a team of us, and we're figuring out as we go. So it's what's
And
it
we
called?
just want to talk.
It's agile.
We just want to talk.
It's agile. We're learning as we do.
Throw us your questions.
So you can send an email to the avchinwag@gmail.com, or probably use the Twitter if you're really keen to sort of start getting a quicker feedback. But let me know if you want to see an unlisted video that I put together a little bit ago about team projects that goes into the whole deep dive what the hell it is, and then how it actually works, and what all the little notifications mean, and the underpinning architecture of how to make it work for you. And so far, the people that I have selectively shown it to, they've started to understand it a lot better because of it. So if you're keen to see it, let me know in either of the Twitter or the Gmail. If you're part of the group, the Australian Pro Video User Group, then send me a direct message there as well. But
Jude says post it in the chat if you can. That would be a good idea, maybe.
Hey, you know
or is
what?
that too public?
No, that's actually a fantastic idea.
Because
that's the thing. I
that's
guess
right.
I'm at a tipping point. So here's the thing. I'm at a tipping point where I'm like, I kind of want to know if it is on point and if it does make sense before I put it out in the wild, which is why I've kept it unlisted.
And to everybody watching who is kind of, familiar with Premiere, they will get into it. It is a bit of a stretch to start to understand the whole concept loop around it, but it's a great video. It explains it very clearly, and you've done a great job with it, John. But it is a different way of thinking. So some people might say, "Oh, I just want to implement this tomorrow." They may have trouble just implementing it tomorrow and going into their editors who are using Premiere and they're all using single licenses or whatever they're doing to explain it to them and then do the media management, the oversight that's involved. That's a bit of a process. But aside from that, the learning curve isn't too bad. And watching this video certainly brings you on board to get a good feel for how you can remobilize the workforce for you to actually get your head around it and then just start using it. And just exploring it, making sure people feel comfortable with it, and then bringing them up to a level where they feel comfortable to work in that way. Obviously, there are some infrastructure concerns, and you need to put those, I suppose, into place. I mean, you can work around any solution, and there's a million of them, and I'm developing them differently every single day, trying to work out what works for this project, what works for that project. It's different for every project, and that, again, is the agility that John was talking about is, I think, the best part about it. It's fun, and every project's got a different feel to it, making sure everybody is understanding it, but then getting them into the creative zone. And once you're in that zone, projects are going to happen. So if everybody's got their head around the technology, which is not a big leap, then, hey, we're all creating. And I think that's the best zone to be in, is when everyone's kind of done a few yards of learning it, then we're just back into the creative zone, and that's where it's working.
Yeah. So I've just noticed that Andrew Hicks is on the chat here. Andrew is actually going to be our guest speaker from Black and White Real Estate Media next week, or marketing.
G'day, Andrew. How are you, mate?
Real estate marketing. BWRM. So yeah, he has quite a few insights that you can really pick his brain on how things work, and we'll do our best to actually show how these bits actually come together. But I think if you're really interested in this topic, a great primer would be this link that I do want to keep it in-house at the moment. It'd be great if you are on Twitter and you could follow that AV CHiNWAG Twitter handle, and then that way we can start building up a bit more volume of this preparation of ideas and start to curate a lot of what people are really interested in through that, which helps me to kind of build the hierarchy of the plethora of topics that I've already got a backlog on, to just figure out, oh, this thing I've got down here, now that seems more important. I'll put it up at the top of the list, and we'll get onto that topic a bit earlier. So, yeah. Now, Jude's asking about an extension of, was it Jude? No, it wasn't Jude. My bad. It was Julian. His team license is will stay after COVID. I don't know. I don't know. It seems to be getting used a lot more now that it is part of the Creative Cloud individual license. I think that's a good thing. I keep promoting that. That's a good thing internally. So we'll see what happens. I don't have the power to decide, but I'm certainly promoting that. I think that's actually a good thing that we should probably try to keep. And that's about the best I can do on that. Let's see. The Premiere.
And I did see Cedric did say some stuff about proxies and stuff, slowing stuff down and keeping people employed. Absolutely. And with Cedric's comment there, it's like it is about keeping people employed. I suppose this industry's copped a fair whack. I think the important thing is going to be developing workflows that work for what you're doing. There's not going to be a sort of one size fits all. And I definitely think that there are a number of things that on this show we can discuss about workflows from small to medium to large that will help people get their minds around how they might run a video production operation remotely, especially using the cloud and relying on internet services to do that. But I've had experience with it for the last 2 years now, and it's been pretty seamless for me. It's just an organizational thing, and I'm sure we're going to talk about all of that stuff in coming episodes because, file management is part of what we do. It's just working out how we now build that into the cloud management system and then bring it back home. So
yeah. There was something here that Julian just mentioned about getting your head around how team projects works, and then collaborating with clients who probably have got access to Premiere Pro, but they're on an individual license. Whether or not it's worth putting in the effort now. I do know that the original date when COVID first kicked in and it became clear that at least for the next 3 months, there was going to be no back to normal. So this is really at that first wave for us. Which is pretty close to being in sync with what was happening in the US. And then Europe had sort of started to peak. The decision was then to have it be used until August 14. And that's probably the US time zone. So really it's around our 15th of August. The discussions are going on now about what that might mean if we extend it or whatever. So it's only a week or so away before we all know whether or not it's going to stay in place. And then, if so, for how long? So, yeah, hopefully within a few episodes of this show, we can announce, or I can announce, what's actually going on with it. Let's see.
I saw another one there quickly from Julian. It was getting clients onto team projects. Totally understand that one. And I don't think that there's going to be a huge need immediately to get everybody onto team projects. It's a good learning experience to go through what the ins and outs of how it works and what it does. But I successfully run everything based on cloud at this point, and it's single license, but I've got multiple single licenses across multiple machines. But all my contractors, freelancers, and people that I use have a license themselves. So it really revolves around file management and just, incorporating them to libraries and the Creative Cloud and share folders and all of that allocation stuff. So team projects, it's going to be a great learning experience, and as we move forward to it. But yes, it's not an expectation that everyone's going to have it. I mean, we can make do with what we've got.
Cool. Well, I'm not seeing anyone joining this Twitter handle. Come on. Maybe someone has actually. No one's joined it. All right. Well, that's fine. We don't need to. You don't need to join it.
And the handle is, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me put it back up on screen.
CHiNWAG at CHiNWAG.
Yes, that's true.
Come on down. Say hello.
Put it back on screen. There. So just down the bottom there. Right. Well, we are almost at the 40-minute mark. I want to get some feedback here as well from the rest of those who are on the chat. Whether or not, oh, thank you, the Premiere Pro. You've just retweeted my tweet. Actually, he was already following me. Thanks, Paul. What was I going to say? What was I saying? Jimmy, help me.
You were saying you were going to probably wrap it up, I think. You were getting to that point of where are we going?
That's what I wanted to know. So I'm thinking 40 minutes is probably not too short, and it's probably not too long. Sort of somewhere in the middle. It starts at 20 past the hour and finishes on the hour, so 7:20 to 8 o'clock. I think this time zone is okay. I kind of have to go with a bit of a majority rule. I don't want to necessarily be doing this late into the night because I want to be doing it weekly. But yeah, I do want to have a bit of a discussion there and hash out whether or not we need to push it a little bit later on. Maybe we finish at 8:30. So we've got a little bit more time leading up to the start time, especially for Perth. Perth time zone's a couple hours behind. So Jude managed to get on, but I don't know whether ongoing 5:20 in the afternoon is a little bit too close to knock-off time for them. But yeah, let's see who's chatting around these topics. Oh, what's happening here? Someone's giving good advice.
But in terms of the duration, John, I think 40 minutes is good. I think each week we can package up a few bits and pieces that we chat to people about and, digest what they've asked and what they're talking about, because I think every guest is going to have workflows that are different. I'm certainly not going to be here every week, and there is going to be other people talking with extensive knowledge of their own backgrounds and how they do things and how they've made it work for them. And that is really going to help a lot of people just, see how things are getting done out there on the ground. And with this work from home situation that we're in now, it's sort of, going to help us understand that the future of things are going to be a little bit different, and hopefully a lot more people get a lot more free time and they can spend it with their families and work from home and enjoy their time at home. And if we can do that, then I think we're winning.
Okay. Righto. Well, yeah, I did want to make sure that it only went for a certain amount of time. So, cool. Got your feedback there, Jimmy. That's good. Righto. Well, Cedric agrees that that's a good amount of time. Okay. Well, I'm pretty excited to have a guest on next week to talk about their experiences using team projects, because I think that is a bit of a hot topic. And the more we get to understand the way that it works and the specific use cases where it really does help. There was a mention earlier, I think it was Paul mentioned something about trialing productions. There are actually some feature films in Australia that I'm talking to these post houses that have been using productions, and they've had very good experiences. There's been a couple of weird things going from a Mac and a PC that are in the same environment, but we're aware of these little kinks and we're ironing them out.
And I would love to know about those.
Yeah, there was one little issue that is not persistent, so it's a bit tricky to kind of lock down. When things are consistent, then engineers can go in and they can actually identify what the problem is, what's causing it, and then deal with it. But when it's inconsistent, it makes it tricky because they've got to find the thing that triggers it and makes it do it. So one issue that they've noticed is going from Mac to Windows. Sometimes some clips, the time code goes away, but when they open it back on the other system, the time code's still there and it's fine. So it's just, there's a little weird thing like that. So they do know. And I mean, my role at Adobe is to be this between person, the local person to get the vibe of what's going on, get whatever issues are going on around as well, and to help validate them, to help figure out how to replicate them, and then provide that information directly into the engineering team, who then take that, do their own replication, we create bugs that go into the backlog, and then they're assigned and someone can actually work on it and fix it. And this process is something that Adobe's really pushing hard, that we and people like myself around the world are having that interaction, and we're mastering the process of providing high quality replication processes and sometimes copies of say a project is doing something weird, and crash logs and things like that, where they have to be able to see the issue on their own systems as well, and then they can go about dealing with it.
So I'm a little bit simpler than that, though. So productions, do you see that as an independent filmmaker's tool?
Absolutely. Well, they're the features that have been made at the moment. One's actually finished. Right. I think they've just wrapped. And Jude, they're based in Perth, so you and I can have a CHiNWAG later on if you like.
Get them on, I reckon.
They actually do want to come on, so we'll see when
100%.
That timing is. They're keen to share their knowledge, what they've current experience. Far majority of it's been positive, so they do want to help people navigate some of the little odd things that they've come across. Not
all the quirky pieces. Bring them out, bring them on, and I want to hear it. That'd be great. Yeah, I'll absolutely love to hear it.
Cool. All right. Well, I'd really like to continue the dialogue through either the user group, if you're part of that.
Hit us up on Twitter.
Or the Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter, or hit us up on Twitter. And if you've got anything that you want to sort of deeper dive in, or you've got some real challenges that you don't want to just share to the public or the group or the masses through Twitter, then use the avchinwag@gmail.com email, and then we can go into a deeper conversation. So I think we might wrap it up. And I've just realised that I've been out of focus most of the time.
You look good to me, mate.
It's because you're blind in one eye.
That is true.
Okay. Well, I crack me up. That's all that matters.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this pilot episode.
That's right. Thanks for helping us test it out. And hopefully we'll catch you all again next week. And please share that this thing exists. Let us know what we could do differently. We always want to get that feedback and make sure we're making the time valuable to you. And thank you. Just thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. And thank you, Al, for helping out with managing
you, John.
The chat there and letting me know what's going wrong. And Cedric and Jude and everyone else who's been on
Everybody
here.
Who jumped on. Yeah. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for being involved. Fantastic. We feel loved.
Yes. Very loved. All right. So I'll wrap it up and just throw the little thanks up. And then about 10 seconds later, I'll actually kill the feed. So feel free to CHiNWAG away in the little chat box for the next 10 seconds or so. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other platforms. See you next week.